Hello, hello out there. James here with another video. I decided is the great division among blacks in the USA. As you see, the reason why I titled this is before you can accuse other people of not standing to their basis. Sometimes you have to stand and look at your own situation. You have people um, making judgment about people over in parts of the world, other black people over in parts of the world, but you have people here just as much as divided as far as politics. They're divided because of simple things like just because you don't talk a certain way, you don't present yourself a certain way. There's a debate on religion. There's a debate on other things, on what is culture, what is not culture, what is politically, and what is not. Is really and it's a really sad thing because no matter if you're educated, no matter if you live in a subsidized housing area, overall you have we're in one of the countries that people do see color. And whether you be a Judas and betray people thinking that you're going to get a payoff, in the end, it's not worth to betray somebody and to manipulate somebody without really thinking what is the consequences. There was a situation I was watching on YouTube, and over that there was this well-known YouTuber. She's a female, Dr. Mombi, and this one and the guy who helps sponsor over USA. His name is the advice shows Phil Scott, and people. So she had an interview with the young man that was in Africa, and he I think he's a native Kenyan or native Ghanaian. I'm not for sure, and he happens to date someone of a different race, and people start calling him racial names, and it wasn't racial names by white people. It was some black people over in the United States called in some of the racial names that white people have called black people. And to refer to other blacks is the same as saying the word, the coon word, the N word, and it's word. The strange thing about it is just because someone has a different and it goes back no matter if it's a person over in Africa or a person over in America, simply because if someone has an objective idea, how can you be proud to be a black person and put down somebody simply because they have a different point of view? It's definitely in being rational and reasonable and trying to see, why they jump to conclusions. And you hear, I heard other YouTube channels and they calling this dude out of his name. They blaspheme God's name in the ground. And that's probably some reason why some black folks don't even get ahead, because they blaspheme the name of God in the ground so much. And I do believe that's what it is too. That's why some blacks can't move ahead, because it starts with spiritual. And you blaspheme God, how you going to figure how you, and for those who believe in God, even the ones that don't believe in God, they all wonder why things are so harsh on them. It's maybe because whatever you speak out of your mouth, you become what you speak. And a lot of people don't think about it that way. And it's just really sad that because in the midst of the commotion, just because you simply don't agree with somebody because of what they do, who they marry, who they date. It doesn't give you the right to sit down there and do something like where to tell who is ain't black and who's not black. And it's a sad it's the same thing that it happens here. Instead of just saying how come this person can't pick somebody if they pick someone of a different race, why can't they pick them because of the different because of the character? You should look at the character because just because you can go with someone, this for example, who is in the same race, but you might have nothing in common, but simply because of the color of your skin. A lot of people don't think about stuff like that, but they see somebody different being happy with somebody that is a different color, and especially if they're black dating somebody who was another nationality, another race, they so quick to call them out their name, but they never sit down and wonder why, and maybe talk with this person instead of calling names out and calling racial names. What you expect someone who is non-black, who is predominantly in the whiteism, would do something like that they would call somebody out their name. And it's just as funny because you have black people, it's so divisive on social media that they're making a fool out of themselves. And the same, and unless you call each other the N-word, I say, heck, some people who are racist and prejudiced, they ain't got to stand back and say a thing. Because and they probably just sit back with their mouth shows that, hey, look at the word that we put on them, and they still speak to a word on one another like that. So you putting each other down for no reason, and you put just simply because you have a disagreement with your brother or your sister who you say is in the same skin, which it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. You can't, no rational, no person can't believe that every thing, if you don't think like my way, then you're not black. You don't go to the same. I mean, that's just the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. And so we can't come together because of that. Just because simply because you have a difference of opinion, I have a difference of opinion. And it's just to sit down like rational people and talk about it. And you have a lot of angry people who just does a lot of cussing and fussing, but they don't. But I heard the one young man over, like, he made a good point. That they was criticizing him for dating the Asian woman, but he made a good point. He said, well, if Chinese coming over there and investing money into a company, and if Africans is for Africans, like when he made a good point. How come no African Americans can't save up their money and start investing in Africa? But yet they call them a coon. I mean, they're in a situation where it's different to sit up there and say something when you don't even know the whole story. Well, you never even been to the continent. You never even been to the continent. You don't know people, and you don't know their situation. So they got to do what they got to do to survive. Did they did it? I wouldn't agree with what they done, but I'm not in their circumstance. So I'm not in Africa. I'm not in Caribbean or different place like this. So people are so quick to judge instead of just looking at the whole situation and evaluate what would you do if you was in present day Africa. What would you do? How would you feel? Someone calling you out your name for no apparent reason. And I just think it's really sad. And so I just and I mean, I just think it's wrong. And the reason why some black people in America is because, and it's the truth, reality is that we kill each other over stupid stuff. We kill each other just over a look. Kill each other over just look at somebody wrong. You ain't even from the same block. They ready to shoot you. You don't talk a certain way. That it's like, dang, can't you understand that there's something deep beneath the skin of a person that is more to the person than it's the character than himself. But some people don't even think about that. They don't even think. And so that's why I made this video tonight because I saw something that's very disturbing. It's something that I feel like it should be addressed, and so that's why I entitled it, because there is a great division, and it's not getting any better. You can't even you can't even speak, you can't even talk to one another without someone looking at you crazy. Sometimes, and sometimes we kill each other over some stupid stuff that don't make no sense. It really don't. It doesn't make no sense. Kill each other over things that just. It would. And sometimes we have to face the fact that some stuff is true. And sometimes we don't love each other. We don't love each other as a people, as a culture. Sometimes we don't love each other. And it's in like most places they turn on each other just like that. And so it's really sad, just because someone has a different opinion, just because someone's from a different part of the United States, a different part of the country. If you don't talk slang a certain type of way, something, you ain't black enough, you ain't this enough, you're not helping because where the environment where you from. You can't help it what part of where you live, how your parents are raised, and where your education is, or anything like that. But you'll have black people that will pick at stuff like that. And it's like, if you ain't from the poor city or the ghetto, just because you start into a poverty place, don't mean that you have to celebrate the poverty place. It's good to know that's where you're from, but where you start at and where you destined to be at is two totally different different time zones. But you have some people that just, it's just really sad is that they would look down to somebody just because the way they talk, the way they look, because they don't chip jive, they don't flip out slang that really is kind of a put down, that they took a word and reinvented. Now the N word, for example, you hear young black people, you hear some black people use this word. They will use a word and don't even have the sense enough to know that you speaking curses over yourself. You speaking a curse over. So how can you love your people when you're speaking a curse over yourself? How can you take a word and redirect it among your people and say that you love black people, but simply because someone has a simply different opinion? And it's really sad. So there's always going to be a great division. Then you shoot each other, kill each other over some nonsense. Basically, you don't own no block. You have young people killing young people over dumb stuff, man. It's really sad. In the midst of the racism and the prejudice that's going on out there, you got some black people don't even have love another black person and see another black person fulfill out their destiny in the earth. So they're willing to kill each other over something really petty. And it's almost like for some people, it's almost like you have to put a certain portion of people to distance themselves because they're not going to get along. They're going to kill each other over some dumb stuff. And then that's going to bring in the outside, which nobody wants to. When the Johnny Law comes and brings on the justice, then it comes in and he puts his foot down in the community. Then everybody wants to raise hell. But it is what it is. It's really sad. But but what I was hearing, getting back to what I was saying earlier, I was hearing about what the young men over in Africa, they start calling them out, and just because of who cares about who's in a relationship with. And black people got to get out of this mindset. Not every black person is a sellout. Not every black person is going to get with a black person. I mean, from any continent. When you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with somebody who you feel you have a common. But I mean, you'll have some people who complain about the interracial thing, and they'll point out about some famous people, but they forget that there's some famous people who are black are married to other black people, black men and black women. But you'll select a few and complain that they don't, but it's which is irrational. It's an irrational mindset. You can't look at a whole group of people of any nationality and think that they're going to agree with everything that same nationality do. It's just that even though that they was raised up in the culture, but at some point you have to grow up and realize that there's some people are going to have their own mind and have their own persona, who they really are. And it's just that it's really sad. And just that you can't be your own individual. It's really sad when you come from a great people and you can't be your own individual. You have to, someone has to put you down and try to step on your dream because it's the crabs in the barrel kind of mindset. And it was really sad to see that. And how can you, in which you never, and some of these people who are really what they call Pan African or black, some that live in the United States never been to Africa. They don't know what the situation over in Africa is. They don't know. They never really talked to somebody who was from Africa and to understand why that they allow these things instead of just calling them a bunch of names, but they just call them a sellout and everything. And then you have some black people here in the States that haven't really forgive. And another thing that we couldn't really forgive the Africans who are like us over in Africa, our brothers and consider our brothers and sisters, because we still mad about stuff that they did 300-400 years ago. It's strange that you can forgive the European man that did what he did, and you to a certain degree you'll accept what he do, but an African man who, yeah, maybe he did sell you out for a few coins and the things, but you'll forgive him faster than you do the African man, which the African man did the half the things the European man did once he got you to the lands. Did he sell you out? Yeah, yes, it did, but he later regretted it that they did that. And for those who are asked for forgiveness, I think it should be a forgiving. Water over the. I mean, if you're so quick to forgive the European white man, how come you can't forgive the African man? It just don't. It don't. Some stuff it just don't make no sense. And then it's a healing process when you do forgive somebody. But some people don't want to forgive. They want to hold on and entertain the hatred, and that's why they can't move. They can't move no further in life because they so bitter, and they want people in the bitter corner with them. It make to feel this the same way that they do. And some people choose not to be bitter. Time is winding up. We are almost at the end of an era. We coming to the close of the end of a chapter where the good God, the Most High God, can crack the skies any day. I mean, we come into calamity. You see things that's playing out. If some of you who read the Bible, you see devastations all around the world and things like that. So I ain't got time. When you sit down and think about the petty stuff that we do here, I mean, compared to some of the things you see around the world, it's just so petty. I mean, just the pettiness in people, and sometimes it just really gets discouraging, distracting. People hearing they being so divisive about things, but yeah, you're the only race in the United States is getting majority getting killed by some of your own, and majority of these people who are justified killing you and getting off, in which you don't have no time to be divided. You don't have no time to be arguing over something like that. You should be working on loving each other and understanding one another. Because like I've heard past, people on social media, like some of the men over there, you all that you got. So if you divide each other up over what side of town you live and what high school you went to, what block you from, you ain't never gonna get nowhere. And then some black people ain't gonna get nowhere because that's their mindset. And they were raised with that mindset. You could take the same person and take them out their block and do the gentrification, and they'll keep that same block mindset. That when somebody different come along, they have the same division. So sometimes and that collides because they have to be the big chief and loud, outspoken, foul mouthed person, and just to prove that how big and bad that they are. Let's see who had the baddest bark on the block, so to speak. I mean, it's just some things. It's just some things that's just ridiculous, and so that's why some black people are staying. I mean, this is some of the few things that they divide each other over. They divide you ain't from the same side of town. And don't be a black person that move into another area and and act like you talk with some intelligence. Is now you must sound like you too educated, which means you know the terminology. You're talking too white, and I mean it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't, and then and maybe the ones who talk white can maybe can anchor and open up a door if open up the door to get the success and get the finances. But you got some people that can't speak worth a damn, and nobody understand what the hell they're talking about because they don't have no proper speaking mechanism. And the only thing they know how to do is curse and cuss, whatever. And they don't have no etiquette to their language. They don't know how to express themselves. So that's why they so mad. And the only people that can connect with them and agree with the ignorance is the ones who have the same ignorance, no what part of the country. That's why they can relate to it because they got the same ignorant mentality that they do. And that's the truth. So that's the reason why. And you have some black people that do want to come back, but they, some do get kind of snotty when they get an education and get the going, but they get their wake up call when they get out there in certain areas. But it seems like damn, but maybe some might want to come back, but you got to worry about the jealousy. You got to worry about envy. You got to worry about some things. Someone can kill you faster than someone who's a racist is, and I think when that's the reality of, because sometimes ain't always a racist person gonna kill you. Sometimes someone who look just like you and being black will kill you faster over just a look. You just bump into somebody that can kill you. I mean, just overlook or bump into someone's car. They ready to pounce on you. And then you get the best of it in a fight. Next thing you know, they're gonna want to shoot you. So it could be. And so what? And then after you realize what the fight and argument was for, it was something stupid, and it's just something really ridiculous. Like, dang, so you just took this person's life, or beat him, maimed him, put him in the hospital over some bull crap, just to prove how much a badass that you are. I mean, it's just it is what it is sometimes, man. And some people. Another thing is people about some of our people don't like to open up their mind. That when you about ready to go into a different direction, you an individual who is black trying to go in a different direction, to try to change the dynamics of your course. But this person don't want to go nowhere because all he do is they know how to do one thing or the other thing. They just know how to just sit around, cuss. They only cuss and fuss and fight. And if they ain't cuss and fuss and fight, you ever been in neighborhoods like that? It's boring. No, someone has to cuss and fuss and fight, because when someone out there cuss and fuss and fighting, that's entertainment to some people. That's like that's some stuff. That's why you see some of the most dysfunctional people that come to talk shows, because they like that cussing, fussing, and fighting, just to think that that's the way they want to act the fool, represent that they're gonna. I guess being an ignorant buffoon gets you more credit, plays into the stereotype that makes it harder for you, some of your people to come out because they think that you this misguided, ignorant, arrogant buffoon that just don't have no proper way of conducting yourself. And this is the truth. It's the God's honest truth. And so of course some people may have give, and that gives some people opinion that they think that American black people particular, and even come from some other black people that come from different parts of the world. Some come from different parts of the world. Say, man, these folks are crazy. You know, I like their style, but they way too crazy with it, whatever. And it's just that I think that there's some people that do, and we don't know how to. And being in the United States, or wherever part of the United States you from, you got some black people, they ain't used to seeing something different. Anything that represent, they want to dignify everybody. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and that's the way that, and they put that and say that's part of the black culture, which I don't see how that's part of the black, being black and be proud to be black and representing black is being a buffoon. There's something that I just don't necessarily agree with. But you got some people who was backwards in the mind. That's what they think. I mean, look how the way they act. I mean, you can't. I mean, some people. Then there's people who are proud to be black. Some of them are very intelligent. They catch. They have the vision. They catch the ones to see, and to try to talk to the ones that don't. Is you got the ones that don't that come. For example, if you ever on social media, you see the ones that don't, who are ignorant and without describing, misguided, whatever. They're using the same racial terms as the people who was racist, who don't like black people. They're using the same racial terms as calling another black person out their name. They call them the Nword more than the Klan do. I mean, it's like, I mean, I said I was on one of the black YouTubers channel, well-known black YouTubers making a platform. And I swear he must have used the N-word so much, even the Klan had to say, geez, man, I thought we used what? And they don't even realize that whatever you put over the media, I bet you there's some white person sit back and that who was prejudiced, who had that racism, and say, you see, that's what they really are, because see how the way they act? We even gave them word, and look what they took the word and prophesied over themselves. That's how divided we are, that we can't even see what's coming. And then you have some people say, hey, y'all need to chill with that word. You need to chill with it. You just don't know. And then you act the fool and whatever, and then put it over to other people. And so they think it's cool, whatever. And they don't even know what that it was a terminology that's given to put down. And when the N-word, let me explain to you what the N-word really is. And this is what it was meant for. The N-word, the N-I-G-G-R, or whatever you want to call it, N-I-G-G-A, when they said it over and over and over, when the prejudiced people, racist people that said that, this is what the terminology was. You are a lazy, misguided, ignorant bastard of people. You lower than a cockroach. So basically, that's what the N-word is relevant to. So, and no matter, and so you are this N-word, and so because you lower than the pile of dog crap that's on the sidewalk. Basically, that's what the N-word was basically. And so to take the N-word and use it in terminology to other people of color is dysfunctional. It doesn't make no sense, and it's just really, it's just backward. It's the backward thinking. So people who gave that word, and because some people really don't know why they saying nig. I don't want to play into the stereotype, but this is that's why they use it so much. But the people who called the nig-er, this is the reason why they use nig-er, because that's what it was terminology is designed to keep a black person. Is saying that that's a shiftless, lazy person. So you call them a shiftless, misguided, lazy person. And so That's what. So every time, and someone say, and so somebody said we going. So somebody in the hood take Nick and put Nick on it, and so and even though it sounds cool, but you calling your brother man and sister man a lazy, misguided person, and the people who spoke the word, who are racist, who are prejudiced, is sitting back laughing their ass off because the people who are prejudiced, who put it on black people, that's what it was terminology for, to keep them down. And this is that's what they use that word. And so and then when you ask somebody, why do you use that word? Well, that's just something. Well, it's just that it takes the conference off the word. If you take it off, you take the N word out of the conference that it is, and you put it on, and you redirect the word. It's the same. Which that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's like if you call somebody MFer. I mean, it no matter what you say that's my MFer right there, and it's like and people say, excuse me, could you mind watch your language? You say, hey, I'm not. What you talking about? You using foul language in front of out here. We don't want to hear that foul language. Basically, the MFer is when you call somebody an MFer, it's part of one of the foul languages words of the. And that's why someone has to kind of correct you and say, please don't say this in front of my wife and children or whatever. But you got people these days, they're diarrhea of the mouth. And it's the same. Some things that just don't make no sense. So when some black people use that word, they just basically speaking a curse over themselves. So when you call someone the N word, basically you just basically cursing, saying that's we gonna be misguided, ignorant, misjudgment folks. And the people who are prejudiced are sitting back and saying, that's it. That's what you're gonna be, and you giving the racists what they wanting for, they laughing their ass off. And so, and then you keep your division that way. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and it's sad that you have some people that say, hey man, we need to stop calling each other something like that, because the word that you say takes life and takes form. So whatever, if you call someone a shiftless, lazy person, they come out to be a shiftless, lazy person, a misguided, ignorant, misguided person. That's why the people who are racist use that word. And we're the only culture in this country that take a racist word and celebrate as a celebration and describe our people. I mean, that's the division. I can't even grasp that, because how can you proud to be called, given the word, to redirect the word, to try to make the word sound cool, but at the same time, it's sounding cool. You put down the people that look like you. And in other words, you call it, they say, that's my little nig. Then you put it on the next generation. I mean, it's just, some things are just, I mean, what I'm saying is words are powerful, what it is. Words are very powerful. Words and what you say and what you speak. And this is, as black people should understand that. And some black people who got it, they understand what I'm talking about. Because it does take life. Words do take life. Whatever you speak on another person and speak in your atmosphere, you become what you speak. And it's like the music. You listen what you speak. The music transform you in what you speak. And you just can sing it, and you be like, I'm just a no good down Negro. I ain't that shit, man. I'm about to go pop up, and then and you keep singing that, and then you draw the atmosphere of it. And sooner or later, it takes form. It takes life. It's the truth. Words are powerful. One of the things I learned about that, words are very, very powerful. People need to understand it. And one thing, this is kind of biblical, that's why Satan was control over the music. because he knew words were powerful. So when people say words and they put it in music, that gives him the improvise to take it into a whole different content. And this is the truth. And it's just really sad. So that's why in the very words that we use among each other keeps us divided. We shouldn't even use words as black people to keep us divided. And no matter what part of the country we come from or where we live at, we should accept our differences. And God made you be deeper than the character of the skin. He gave you character up under the skin. That's another thing that we should accept for some of us, that we are different in that aspect, that God make us totally different. And wherever you come from, we should enjoy the uniqueness of our character more so than just saying that what you look like and what I look like, you just an in, I'm just an in. That's really messed up. That's a messed up way of thinking. But that's what drew me here tonight. But this is the truth. And it's the words that divide you up. Words take action, words take life. And sometimes another reason why and it's sad, we don't trust one another. We don't trust one another because various reasons. Somebody think that somebody's soft, somebody's weak, someone's trying to pull some game, or some people trying to pull some crazy old mess, and some people that do. So that's another reason why we're divided up. We're divided up by generations. We divided up who we are. If you don't, so we divide up in 5, 10 different ways. And it's the truth. I mean, it's really sad that there's a division like that, but it is what it is. And other people take a note, and other people take advantage of it. Other people come among the African American black in the black in USA, probably doing this elsewhere, knowing that there's a division among. They're taking this, say, what I call the Willie Lynch syndrome of division. They sit back and be like a referee, and they sit back and say, hey, and it's not their people that's gunning down or getting the fights or going into prisons at great numbers. It's black people. It's the truth. They sit back and tap back and laugh. And so it's something to think about. But this is the reason why we divided. And I think that, and then if you get someone who really do care and want to come back and help out the community, you have to be wise about it, because you got some people that you hopefully don't go back into a community and someone try to rob you, and beat you up, and here you trying to be the Robin Hood. So if you ever want to go back and help, and which I think is great to go back and help, but you have to be wise even when you go back and help out other black people. If you go back into the inner city, because you just can't go back flashing money and flashing this. You have to do it like anonymously. If you're a black millionaire or whatever, and you want to help out black people, do like this. Go through a middle person that's trustworthy to give to or organization or center or something like that, or some place like a church or a recreational center in the inner city, whatever, and to help out the young people or help out people and then remain anonymous. That's the best thing to do. If you decide to help out the African American black community, is basically remain anonymous, and help out that way. And it's just and it's for certain reasons, because some people, when they find out you got money, man, people get this mindset, man, like boy, that dude got a lick, so we're gonna have to go hit him up. He gonna have to give it up. So you got some people that think like that. So if you ever get some money, you have to take aware of that too. And don't be so flashy with money. Don't be flashy. Can't be flashy around our own people. Some of our own people can't be flashy, especially the ones who don't have much. So some of us don't have. So you have to use wisdom. You want to give back, and there's some people that do want to give back to the community. But if that was you, you know how they do like the lottery, whatever. People that win the lottery, you don't know how they don't announce the millionaire, billionaire, whatever, and that's the reason why. Because people are crazy. People, they find out, oh, who is this person? Where they live at? They might come rob you, something like that. They may come break in your car or try to rob you or stop you, some crazy stuff. So if you ever want to help out the people, do it anonymously. That's a smart way of doing it. Or find a middleman of people that they will keep their mouth quiet, and that's what I would do. To help out, if you give back into the community, is remain anonymous. Because you don't want to let folks know that you got something, because people be ready. They be ready to come up with some con game and try to run some slick slide down game. What's your poison? You drink, you smoke, you get high. You be the best of friend, man. If you a person with some resources like that and you got money like that, you'll have friends for days. Because here come the weed friends, the alcohol friends, and everything else. The ones with the bad habits, they'll come out of just like that. And that's the truth. When you got money, man, it attracts all kind of people. You making some good money, attract all kind of people. So you have to watch. You use your wisdom on who you help out there, and like I said, you do help out people. Just be wise. That would be my best advice. But yeah, that's true, and I think we should, and a lot of times that's some of us don't want to help because you got the ones that are too educated. You got the ones that I'm going to talk about them, and they know the ones that are too educated. They know what it's like, but they think that they don't think that they're black. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to think about. They think about part of America, but they don't understand. And even though no matter how much education or position, job that you got, your physical part of you with the African Americans, no matter how adequate you speak, no matter how, there's some people that see you as a color, and they don't think you should have anything as a color because their perception and their assumption is already put into place, and it's something that it was self-taught. Some people are self-taught about different groups of people. And so these self-educated blacks are the ones that don't think that they're black and they live in certain areas. Oh, they really get a wake-up call, because even though you might be laughing at some of the things, but you might, in the end, you'll be the laughing joke. Because when it comes to certain things, you might get a few connections, but you go from one area to another area, the same people who in that suburb or that rural area, you go to the next town, the next rural area, they may not be as friendly. And that's what I learned is true. And so they don't want to think that they belong. So you have black people on the other side, they're the ones too that's on the other side. So that's why there's such a division as far as that. You have people that just think that they think they're too low, and some think that they're too high, in which they don't understand that America don't care how much money you have when it comes to that, when it comes to your color. You get, because if you move and you got the resources and they don't want you in certain neighborhoods, they'll make it harder for you. I mean, you hearing cases now where some of the people are getting harassed by police or going to the university. They're actually trying to go to school, and they get called by the cops. And people seem surprised. It's not a surprise. Some people, and this is where you have some black people don't understand. Just because you get to a certain area, oh, you're gonna encounter some stuff. Maybe not where you live, maybe not among a certain sector of friends. But when you step away from that sector of friends, and come to by yourself, you will encounter racism from somebody. It'll be obvious too. You go from one suburb to another suburb. You go from one rural area to another rural area. You don't face somebody racist. It's just a matter of time. So and then that's another thing that a lot of people don't want to admit that too. And so these two, you got two different kind of black people that is like, you got the ones that's too ratchet and too hood minded, and you got the other ones that's too educated. And there's very few people that's very balanced in between. And it's true. There's no balance whatsoever. It's a sense of entitlement, but both sides feel like they're entitlement too. But it's something to think about. What I was saying earlier, words is very powerful, what you speak, and I hope that it would be nice to come together, and some black people would come together as a race, but some black people won't. Some of us got the understanding, and some of us don't. Some of us don't have the understanding. We don't understand, and they don't want to understand. They won't be, because they come in. It's like an experiment that someone done. They have a mind of that block, and they don't think outside the block. They don't think outside the box or the block, and so they're scared to try something different. And I think that's what it is. Some people are scared to try it. That's why they don't like to think outside the block. And the only way to come together is that you have to really get your spirit right. I think and learn to love one another and build strong families and strong communities. It could be done, but you don't have that, and you got the black man going against the black woman. It's not going to be a good example for the next generation. And so when they see that division coming up, where man versus black woman, in some cases, not all cases, but some cases, you cut down your population. And you cut your community cut in half, and therefore another community takes over. It takes political, educational, economical things. This is what black people need to understand in order to stand together, because other communities of people doing the same thing. They understand the concept of it. And it's the truth. And no matter if you the educated black person or the black person who's not so educated, if you don't come together at some point as a group, you'll perish. If you don't get your spirit right, you'll perish. And so the division got stopped. My suggestion is stop dividing up over things like that. And if someone do something different, and if you find somebody who, just hear them out. Don't be so quick to judge somebody. Don't be so quick to put your mouth on something in case you don't know. Learn to listen to somebody. Learn to be understanding. If we can communicate to get better as a people, instead of communicating with intimidation against one another, that bullies, dog tactic. If we can learn to respect one another, we can go a long way. We can survive as a people. Some of us will survive as a people, but some black people Until they understand that concept, some going to perish, and unfortunately that's the reality. Some people going to perish because while you have other ones that's trying to wake them up and see what's going on with the reality of this world, and they don't, and you have someone who's bullheaded and they're going to do it the way they want to do it, knowing that the outcome ain't going to be so good. That's why you seen the cycle going over and over and over and over again. So that's my thoughts for tonight, and I just want to speak on this topic. And I'm not a very popular person, but I like to chime in sometimes. And a few views that I do and the views that I don't, I take them as grains of salt. And maybe it's a blessing. Maybe I don't have too many people, because you get, I heard with other people, they get some crazy people out there. You know, you get some psychologists, and maybe I'm blessed just to have the few that do. And thank you to the ones who do see my video and take note of it, and take precaution and take note. But what I'm speaking is the truth. It's really sad that you have to look beyond the skin. Look at the character. We can look at a character like any group of people. Look at the character of a person, like as your brother and sister in the skin. If that's who you choose to say. Stop looking to as an enemy. Try to understand. Have a proper dialogue, a respectful dialogue. That's what we have to do as a people. That to be, and that division maybe would seal the gap a little bit. But right now, it's hard to say, and that's why no matter what background you come from, whether you're educated or non-educated, no matter if you got a college degree or you don't have a college degree, whether you're someone in the street or someone that's a black person working a corporate job, you're still black. At the end of the day, you're still black. You're still the physical threat and fear and prejudice, and the ones in these certain group of societies look at you at. You got to put down your differences, man. So this block differences, this hood, this mentality, trying to think worldwide, and learn to forgive your brother and sister, whether it's in this land or in the motherland. Learn to forgive, man, because maybe they can teach you. Because maybe the people over in Africa can teach the Black Americans something. Maybe we could teach them something. We can learn something together. I'm just saying, because you do got something in common. When you go out to mainstream Western society, they see your color. They don't see your nation. They don't hear your tongue. When you come into a building or a public area, they see your color. They don't know who you are until they hear you speak, until they see your mannerism. And that's the truth. So that's just something to think about. My name is James. It's been an interesting night to make this video. And those who do, take note. And those who don't like it, well, it is what it is, but can't deny that it's a bigger problem. And it's the reason why. I hear people talk about it so much. So until you get these little petty division and devices out of the way, it's going to keep remaining divide over things until you mature as a person. And some people got to want to mature too. Some of us got to want to mature, because some of us don't want to mature. Maturity means you have to change. And then some people, the ones who don't mature, they don't have a sad outcome. And that's the truth. You don't change your environment, you're going to be stuck in the same environment. And it's not fair to a brother and sister in your skin to keep them in the same condition because they want to advance and you don't. Just something to think about. And so that as I'm speaking problems, I'm speaking solutions. That's how I look at it. You speak a problem, you speak a solution behind it, and this is a solution. It starts with the family. And I heard, a few people say it starts with the family, it starts with the community, it starts with the environment, and main thing, it starts with spiritual. Understand, get back to spirituality. If Black people can come back as a whole, oh, we be awesome. And some of us are coming back, and it's going. I hope it'd be nice. All of us come back, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Some going to keep the ignorance. Some Black people going to keep the ignorance because what they know, and they don't want to change what they know. You got some Black people that just that's all that they know. But it's like okay, it's time to change. They don't want to change, so you got to leave them be where they be, and so you got to go in advance. And this is the truth. What I'm spitting out is so true. It is really sad that it has to be that way, because of all the nationalities in this country, we're still at the bottom, and we rapidly at the bottom. So that's why I say it doesn't make no sense to be divided anyway, because on an economic level, as a community of people, every community of people, like I heard people make a statement about every community of people, how much they spend their dollar. So it provides jobs and education and opportunities for future generations of their community. And it's some Black people get that understanding. You got a good percentage of them that they don't. And then when the ones that do try to bring in the ones that don't, they don't want to listen. So there's a great division, and then you have some people that will continue to bring that great division because they don't want to wake the other ones up, keep them asleep, keep them rocking back and forth, and keep them asleep, to keep them thinking that that's what they are. They're a bunch of misguided individuals, uneducated, and that's how the way mainstream society wants to put it. They want to keep you ignorant, keep us ignorant as a race. But time's showing that that's a lie, because truth is out there these days. Truth is over the web, the social media, and the library, and every place else to find truth. So you can't keep people down for so long. So, but that's the only way you start loving. I think that's the only way you start having to love each other and see each other as a person, as an individual, regardless you're attracted to a person, you're not. They're not attracted to what you find is attractive, but treat that person with respect. That's what we got to treat each other with respect, whether the person popular or unpopular. Every life has value and deserve respect. That's what we got to learn as a people, like any other people do, because this is who we got, and it's the truth. Because you living in a reality of a world that sees color. In certain parts of the world, the United States is one of the 5-6 countries that had the psychological race problem along with the physical race problem. So you don't have no choice but to stand together. You can't split as a race. You got to work together as a race, and just like with other people. So that's my opinion for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for hearing this. And I know some people ain't gonna like the message, but it's the reason why. Why does this happen the way it do? That's the reason why. Because it comes back, it is what it is. And it can change. It's up to some individuals. So I'm about to get offline here, and sorry if I rattle on too much, but hey, just just as I'm speaking, it comes to my mind what to speak on. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. But hopefully you take note of it, learn something from it. Okay, then you be blessed and have a good night.